The camera glides over vast frozen plains, where glaciers rise like jagged walls and ice stretches endlessly under a pale sky. Around 40,000 years ago, the Ice Age transformed much of Earth into a brutal, unlivable wasteland. Only a few thousand Homo sapiens survived, living in small, isolated bands across Africa, Europe, and Asia. Each day demanded the fight against starvation, bone-chilling winds, and predators perfected for the cold. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and dire wolves roamed these frozen lands. Survival depended on cunning, cooperation, and endurance. This was not a world of abundance or comfort. It was a battlefield where every step was a struggle. Snow crunches underfoot as a small band of early humans presses forward across frozen plains. Their breath misting in the frigid air, hunger drives each step, instinct guiding them toward distant herds of mammoths and reindeer. In their hands, crude spears and the last glowing embers of a struggling fire are all that stand between life and death. Survival demands memory of shelter, knowledge of prey, and the unspoken trust of the group. Faces are cracked with frostbite, eyes sharp with fear, yet determination pushes them onward. Each day is a gamble, every step a test. Endurance becomes their most vital tool, the silent weapon of humanity's survival. A sudden blizzard sweeps across the frozen plains, reducing visibility to a ghostly blur. Snow lashes the tribe's faces, and the howling wind hides every familiar landmark. From the swirling mist, a saber-toothed cat emerges, eyes gleaming, muscles coiled for attack. The narrator explains that Ice Age temperatures were nearly 10 degrees Celsius colder than today, and megafauna dominated these lands. Strength alone cannot save the humans. Cunning and quick thinking must guide them. They scatter, evading the predator, but in their flight, the fire dies. Coal seeps into their bones, leaving the tribe exposed, fragile, and at nature's mercy amidst the storm. A young hunter, trembling from cold and fear, strikes flint against pyrite. Sparks fly, landing on dry moss, and slowly a small flame grows. The fire bursts to life, casting warm light across the tribe's frozen faces. Relief and wonder spread like wildfire, painting hope where despair had reigned. The narrator reflects that mastering fire changed humanity, forever offering warmth, protection from predators, and light through endless nights. This moment feels sacred, a first taste of control over nature. A spark that will illuminate the path of survival and innovation for generations to come. The tribe huddles close around the rekindled flame, faces glowing with relief. Outside, the blizzard lashes the land, but inside, warmth spreads, bringing laughter from children and quiet rest for weary hunters. Elders stare into the dancing firelight, sensing something larger than survival. The narrator reflects, this was the moment fear met defiance. Fire did not just save them, it defined them. Glowing embers flicker against the endless snow, marking humanity's first triumph over nature's relentless fury. Long before tools or fire, early humans moved through a world ruled by teeth and claws. Fragile and unarmed, they scavenged what predators left behind, eyes wide with caution. Clawed beasts dominated the plains, each step a gamble. The narrator explains a vital truth. survival relied not on strength, but on observation and patience. A group of Homo habilis crouches behind rocks, watching a lion tear into a carcass, waiting for scraps once the danger passes. In these desperate moments, creativity stirs. The seed of invention takes root, teaching that survival demands thought, planning, and adaptation beyond mere muscle or speed. In the dim light of a rocky shelter, a figure lifts a stone and strikes it sharply against another. The cave fills with a crack, a spark, a chip flying free. The first flake falls, jagged and razor-sharp. This is the birth of the old Darwin tools, nearly 2.6 million years ago in Africa. Simple, yet revolutionary, these stones allow early humans to cut meat, strip hides, and shape wood. Each strike brings a newfound mastery over their world. Fearful creatures become agents of purpose. Close-ups of hands, eyes, and sparks capture a cinematic moment, the realization that thought and skill can carve survival and define the journey of humankind. Generations after the first toolmakers, their descendants traverse the open savannas with purpose and precision. The Acheulean hand axe appears sleek, symmetrical, deliberate, a symbol of evolving intelligence. The camera follows a coordinated hunt. Hunters armed with sharpened stone blades circle a massive bison, their movements synchronized, almost ritualistic. The narration highlights how cooperation, planning, and communication begin to shape societies. They track, signal, and strike together, transforming fear into control. No longer mere scavengers, humans dictate life and death. When the hunt concludes, triumph spreads beyond nourishment. It asserts dominance. Each flake of stone carved more than meat. It shapes strategy, foresight, and identity, laying the foundations of human civilization. In a distant land, a tribe experiments with a revolutionary idea. Instead of chasing prey, they trap it. They dig deep pits, line them with sharpened spears and stone-tipped stakes, and carefully guide animals into these deadly zones. The narration emphasizes this as a turning point, the victory of intellect over instinct. Through planning, signals, and shared knowledge, humans gain foresight. They are no longer merely reacting to the world. They begin to shape it. This moment marks humanity's emergence as predator, mastering not only tools, but the concept of time itself, the power to anticipate, prepare, and control outcomes. The tribe sits in a circle, firelight flickering across their weathered faces. Stone blades rest nearby, symbols of survival and thought. They share the warmth, the cooked meat, and a quiet pride that words cannot capture. The narrator intones softly, these were not just tools. They were ideas made solid. The camera focuses on a single hand axe glinting in the flames, a testament to the first step towards civilization. A trembling torch illuminates the jagged walls, casting shadows that stretch like restless spirits across the cave. It is 30,000 years ago, and early humans venture into darkness not merely for shelter, but to leave their mark. In the Chauvet and Lascaux caves, figures of wild horses, mammoths, and bison emerge in ochre and charcoal, vibrant against stone. These paintings are not mere decoration, they are records of life, power, and reverence. Each stroke is a ritual, a connection between human and world, transforming cold rock into sanctuary. The cave itself becomes a silent witness to imagination and memory. A young tribesman steps cautiously into the cave, torch in one hand, a small pouch of colored dust in the other. His fingers are streaked red with ochre, blackened by soot from yesterday's fire. On the stone floor, he grinds minerals with animal fat, forming a paste that will bring his visions to life. Each stroke on the wall captures the tension of a hunt, the thrill of survival, the triumph over danger. These images are not idle doodles, they carry memory, instruction, and hope. By the fire, the tribe watches as the figures flicker and dance, alive in the torchlight. In this act, imagination meets necessity, and storytelling finds its first enduring form. The painter dips his hand into a mixture of ash and pigment, pressing it firmly against the stone wall. The imprint remains, a simple mark yet profound, a human signature on the eternal. Across continents, archaeologists have uncovered countless such handprints, silent witnesses to a shared consciousness stretching back tens of thousands of years. These marks suggest early humans were beginning to understand more than the physical world. They glimpsed the invisible, the spiritual. The cave transforms into a sanctuary, a place where fear, faith, and creativity converge. The narrator reflects, for the first time, humans saw not just the world around them, but the unseen, the idea that there was something beyond the hunt, beyond the cold. Time flows, and the painter's vision grows bolder. On the cave wall, a human figure emerges, standing alongside the horses and bison. It is a declaration of identity, humans recognizing themselves both as part of nature and apart from it. The narrator draws the connection to early burial rituals, bodies covered in red ochre, surrounded by tools and offerings, suggesting a belief in life beyond death. This moment signals the birth of spirituality, gods, and purpose. Humanity's imagination has leapt beyond mere survival, reaching toward the eternal, shaping not just their world, but the world of ideas that would follow. The camera glides over hundreds of handprints glowing in the flickering torchlight. Each mark belongs to someone who lived, dreamed, and reached across time to leave a trace. The narrator's voice softens. These walls are not silent. They remember us. Through color and stone, humanity began to speak to time itself, and time listened. The world tightens its icy grip. Vast sheets of glimmering white spread across continents, forcing both animals and humans into ever smaller, harsher territories. Food grows scarce, winters stretch longer, and every spark of fire becomes a treasure. Tribes are driven to migrate, fight, and forge fragile alliances for survival. Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, different yet alike, compete for the same rivers, caves, and herds. The tension simmers quietly. It is not open war, but a subtle struggle of existence. In this frozen crucible, strength alone is not enough. Only those who adapt fastest, who think and move with the land, will endure. The frozen valleys of Europe stretch under a pale, icy sun, where Neanderthals reign. Stocky, muscular, and remarkably skilled, they carve tools with precision and hunt mammoths with coordinated strength. Across the snow-laden plains, a smaller, more slender group appears, Homo sapiens. Their blades are sharper, shelters more efficient, and language more nuanced. Neanderthals rely on power, Sapiens on imagination. Yet both share humanity. They light fires, care for the injured, and bury their dead. Still, tension simmers. As territories overlap, curiosity gives way to suspicion. Around flickering campfires, whispered stories form. Beings like us, yet different. In these tales, the quiet roots of rivalry and survival instinct begin to grow. Across frozen landscapes, no single battle defines this struggle-only quiet. Scattered confrontations unfolding over generations. A hunt misfires, a shelter is seized, a boundary crossed. Neanderthals defend familiar caves while Homo sapiens expand outward, testing new tactics and forging distant connections through trade. The sapiens' true advantage lies in knowledge shared across tribes, language, and cooperation. Allow strategies to move faster than footsteps. Slowly, territories shift. The Neanderthals are pushed deeper into harsher lands. Each encounter whittles their numbers. There is no malice, only survival's harsh calculus. One species grows, adapts, and multiplies, while the other fades, leaving only traces of their presence in the snow and memory. Around 40,000 years ago, Neanderthal fires begin to die out. Their footprints vanish from frozen valleys, and their voices are swallowed by silence. Perhaps they interbred with Homo sapiens. Perhaps hunger or harsh winters claimed them. The cause matters less than the consequence. What remains is inheritance, not conquest. DNA evidence shows fragments of Neanderthals persist in us today, a living memory written in blood. A quiet echo of the landscapes, homes, and lives they built and ultimately lost to time and change. A lone Homo sapiens stands beside a dying fire, eyes fixed on the endless frozen horizon. The wind whispers across ice and snow, carrying the silence of vanished tribes. The Ice Age gave no mercy, only lessons, the narrator intones. Those who survived carry not just strength, but memory. The last rival has vanished and humanity steps into an uncertain future, shaped by endurance, adaptation, and the hard-won knowledge of survival. Thunderous rivers crash through shattered ice walls as the last great glaciers of the Ice Age retreat. It is 10,000 BCE, and the world begins to breathe again. Forests push back across thawing plains, herds of animals migrate to new homes, and the earth warms into a fresh rhythm. For humans, change is both gift and challenge. Ancient hunting paths vanish beneath rising waters, and frozen plains become marshes. Yet within these trials lies opportunity. The narrator reflects that survival now demands more than endurance, it requires adaptation. Humanity stands at the threshold of a new age, ready to reshape life itself. A small tribe moves southward, following the retreat of glaciers and the promise of fertile lands. Valleys glisten with fresh streams, and wild grains sway in gentle breezes, hinting at abundance. The narrator explains how these regions, later known as the Fertile Crescent, became the cradle of early agriculture. Hunters learn to gather, gatherers begin to plant, and hands scatter seeds into the soil, humanity's first deliberate act of creation. This quiet revolution reshapes life. Crops inspire notions of ownership, permanence, and community. Huts rise along the riverbanks. Watchful eyes guard the harvest. And for the first time, survival becomes a conscious choice, not just instinct. Seasons turn, and the small settlements grow. Families endure harvests and harsh winters together, learning the rhythm of the land. The narrator highlights how humans domesticated animals, stored grain for lean times, and began simple trade with neighboring groups. This era, known as the Neolithic Revolution, ends the constant wandering of the Stone Age. Stability, however, brings new challenges: disputes over land, emerging leadership, and early social hierarchies. Around the hearths, stories evolve from survival myths to creation tales and destinies. Humanity starts to see itself as a maker, not merely a survivor. Fields, fires, and village walls beat with the first pulse of civilization. Smoke curls gently from the first permanent homes, rising above green plains and winding rivers that shimmer in the sunlight. The narrator's voice reflects, "Fire taught us to endure the cold. Stone taught us to shape the world, but soil taught us to stay." From these modest beginnings, humanity steps fully into history. The Ice Age's harsh lessons resilience, ingenuity, and cooperation become the foundation for all that follows. The tribe gazes across their fertile valley, unaware they are no longer wanderers. They are the first builders of tomorrow, the inheritors of a world remade and reborn.